Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to The Truth with B. Tatum. I almost forgot my mic over there. I'm sitting here playing on my phone. So I really wanted to just address a few things with us today. I think if you've been following my page all day, you've noticed that I had a few things that I've expressed early on, that I've talked about, or you could say that I've spoken about on my social media regarding some of the hot topics in America. And there's a lot of things that, you know, the funny thing is I think Ben Shapiro did a really good job at debunking, and I shared it on my page, debunking the myth that there have been 18 school shootings. And, you know, I think that I'm not sure if some of this is malice from the media or some of this is just people not doing their job. I mean, as a journalist, you have to do a better job, especially if you're a national. You have to do a better job at making sure that your facts are correct. But I'm inclined to believe that most of these people know that their facts not correct. They just want to be inflammatory. Like, to even perceive that there's 19 or 18 school shootings thus far this year would be absolutely mind-blowing. But as we've known and as we've learned from what Ben Shapiro said, and obviously any kind of research that you do as an independent, free-thinking person, you would know that not every mass shooting and a shooting at a school or a shooting that is somewhere else that ends up at the school or whatever the case may be, not all of them are classified separately. So, you know, the mainstream media is just continuously lying. I mean, obviously, I think that they have an agenda and the reason why they're coming up with these fallacies. But there's a few other things that I like to talk about today that's sort of on a different tone. I had a conversation or disagreement with two people in the last 2 days that just made me feel like I wish they would come on the show so I can articulate this. One guy is totally an idiot, called me a coon and all this other stuff, but he told me that I'm trying to be white, right? I'm trying to be white. So there's two things that I got from that. Either he's a complete idiot or he's a little idiot that believes that white people are better than black people. One of the two is happening. Because I am inclined to do research and attempt to be grammatically correct when I type certain things. I'm not always perfect, because I decide to have an open mind and I decide to justify the statements that I make. He's saying that I'm trying to be white. So what he's essentially saying is that only white people operate with common sense. Only white people know how to articulate thoughts, and only white people are open-minded. I guess black people aren't, according to this guy. And that's problematic, in my opinion. And of course, people were arguing with him, but I think that he didn't have a valid argument or even a dog in the fight, to be honest. And then I was talking to a young lady before I started the show. She told me don't call her young lady because she's not, I don't know. I told her I call you young lady if you ain't in your 70s. I say, what you would like me to call you, old lady? Like, what is it that you want me to say? If I say you old, you'll be mad. But anyway, we were having a conversation and she said that she don't respect. There was a conversation about what is wrong with America. And I said on the post that one of the problems with America, the violence and stuff that's going on, is a lack of God being present in people's lives. And then also the lack of being able to deal with mental illnesses properly. Anyone with common sense that work in that field of mental health understand that at this point we are barbaric in psychology. I mean, not psychology, but psychiatry. I had a psychiatrist say this to my face, that our prescriptions of medications, the way we treat mental illness today They said about 20 years from now, we are going to look back and say that we are barbaric in our ways, given the fact that we medicate people with medicine that will need other medicine, that will need other medicine, that will need other medicine for them to feel okay. So if you take medicine for a bipolar disorder, it may affect your urinary tract system. Therefore, you need to take medication for that may give you nightmares and headaches. Then you have to take medication for that will relieve the headaches and the migraines, or migraines and the nightmares. But then you'll be partially depressed again, so they give you more medication. It's a residual negative effect that's going on in our mental health system that I think that as a country, we are attempting to try to do better at it. But let's talk about God for just a real quick second. I went off this morning about it. I'll just be real quick with this. There's a difference between when I say, and when anybody say that we want God is missing from our country, I'm not talking about religion, right? I'm talking about relationship. Okay. There's a difference between going to a church and putting dust on your forehead and a cross and then going home and beating your wife. When I say that God is missing from America, what I'm saying is the morality, the principles. If people would actually receive those principles in their heart and try to live out those principles, I think that we will inevitably be better. And I think that some people who are anti-God, who just want to live in a life without a God, are attempting to confuse the two. Nobody with common sense is saying that religion is the resolution for our problems in this country. And nobody that's even bringing up the idea is referring to anything other than morality that's associated with God. Like this person said, well, I'm an atheist and I have the same morality as believers. Well, you might as well call yourself a believer then. If your morale is, you saying your morale is the same as believers, and you're saying that your morale is good and it's what's good for this country, then you are essentially saying that people who are believers are what's good for this country. So how about you and other believers interject yourself into our community to make it better? It's funny that a person will say that and try to act like religion is a bad thing. It's like, no, you might as well call yourself religious. Your morality being on point and good and productive in society is exactly what I'm talking about. It has nothing to do with what religion you in and all this other stuff. I'm saying God is as I'm referring to, is the God of the Bible, the God that preaches love and forgiveness and preaches against murdering other people and killing yourself. Like all of these principles that we consider to be violent outrages that are in our country. I mean, if people followed the Bible, we wouldn't kill each other, right? If people follow the Bible, they wouldn't kill themselves, right? Right. If people follow the Bible, they would not break laws, correct? Okay, that's all that we are saying when we say that America is now losing touch with God, because now you have people who are relying on their own consciousness and their own goodness and well-being to sustain them throughout life. And then when that fails them, they feel worthless in life, because they don't understand the concept of love, forgiveness, God's grace, and then the afterlife. Those are things that I think that we can do better as a nation to make this country better. And then, you know, she came at me a little sideways and said, you're the police officer that said that you don't believe victims. And she gave me a scenario of when she was victimized. And she said she had evidence and had scars and stuff. And I said, young lady, you are a victim. You have evidence. I'm telling you that I don't just believe people because they say something. Like, for instance, she gave me the scenario that a guy had, you know, I think a guy who would work with her was bullying, pretty much using his authority to manipulate situations, you know, literally being sexually aggressive with her, pulling on her shirt, looking down her bra, doing stuff like this in the parking lot. And I said, of course, you have a story. You know, you are telling me your side of the story. Now, you expect me to believe you without looking at anything, correct? Okay. What if that man told me that you were trying to solicit sex with him for money? I'm just going to believe him just because he said it? No. Somebody's going to have to show some level of evidence that would lead a reasonable person to believe that what you're saying is accurate. If I come out right now and said Echo punched me in the face earlier, are you going to just believe me just because I said it? No, because what if Echo say, no, Brandon attacked me, that's why I punched him in the face? Who are you going to believe? It's going to come down to evidence. It's going to come down to a reasonable statement. If Echo can't get his lie straight, then you know that he's probably not telling the truth. And eventually, if he admits to it, then he's probably not telling the truth. But that's a no-brainer concept. And I think people on social media get, inflamed in their mind because there's no human connection. If most people who disagree with me will sit down across the table from me and have a conversation with me, I think a lot of people would not disagree with me after we leave the conversation. Because to think that I wouldn't believe a victim of sexual assault is beyond me. I mean, I have arrested people for sexually assaulting individuals. I have investigated cases of sexual assault. I've been there, done that. And I've also seen people lie. So all I'm saying is that any reasonable person that know anything about the court of law, know anything about investigating, know that you cannot go on face value. When you are an investigator, you learn to not believe people for what they say at face value. If I was to believe the first person that tell me a story, I would have falsely arrested probably 15 people in my career. If I would believe the person who told the story first, or just say, if I believe the woman, because people say believe the women. If I were to believe the women, I would have probably arrested 3 people illegally, wrongfully for rape or sexual assault, and I would have arrested at least 8 to 10 people for domestic violence. If I would have just believed the woman. People lie. It ain't about men and women. It's just the fact that you got to go down to principles of proper investigations. So what I want to do, so I don't keep talking, I mean, everybody's have their comments about this Russia thing. I'm going to speak on it real quickly. The Russia indictment, I guess that through this lengthy year-long investigation, probably over a year now, investigation into Russian collusion and all of this other stuff, a year into it, we still have no Americans involved and we still have no effect on the election. All we have is indictments from people in foreign countries. Now, if these people never show up, are we gonna pursue them and go out and try to get them and bring them to justice? Probably not. Probably not. I don't even really understand why we're wasting so much time trying to pay to extradite people to this country when they've committed crimes that had no effect in our election. Russians try to interfere with our election every year. Probably every year. Every year. When Obama was here, every year. Obama knew about Russian interference or them attempting to interfere in our election. He never said anything. This stuff was going on before Donald Trump was even around. Now, let's continue forward. This investigation has led to no Americans being involved and no evidence that our election has been hacked. But we have evidence that Hillary Clinton has literally influenced our election because she rigged the primary. I don't understand. What else can you say? There's evidence of her rigging the primary, that of the DNC and Hillary Clinton rigging the primary, which eliminated Bernie Sanders from the race. That is effectively thwarting our democratic process by sabotaging another candidate. And then when we go beyond that, thanks for the super chat. When we go beyond that, we have clear evidence that let's read that. Yeah. We have clear evidence that that Clinton was working with Russians with the Uranium One deal, with the Russian dossier. I mean, it's clear as the noonday sun. Somebody sent a super chat. Yeah. If you give a super chat, we will answer your question. It's just the easiest way to do it. It will pop up on the screen, and we will make sure that your question is answered. If not,
if you have a question that
we'll
you're
do
like,
our best.
I really want them to answer this. You can ask us questions all you want. We'll try, but to guarantee we'll answer it, we guarantee we will answer a question if you do it through super chat. So, tip. I don't know how to say your name, dude. Hey, Brandon Tatum and Echo, what do you think about the incompetence of Jerry Brown and the state of California? Many are leaving California.
Okay, perfect. I wish I could bring my friend on the show. I wish I could bring her on the show. She just talked to me while I was sitting here yesterday about this same issue. She told me she just left, and she's probably watching the show. She just left Texas went to California. She's an entrepreneur. She got a lot of things going on. She went there to get some work. She does movies and all kind of stuff. So she got there and she told me yesterday that it is absolutely depressing and saddening in LA at this point. She said there are people who are adults, young people like myself, like Echo, who are literally homeless, laying out in the middle of the street, laying out near the ATMs. They don't even care. People are out there with their kids struggling. She said the infrastructure is absolutely terrible. Like, it's old, dirty, rundown buildings. She's telling me that she has a Airbnb, and it's like $1,700 a month for her to have one room and with a shared restroom in a house with multiple people. California, we've already seen this. The middle class of California is moving out. Let me give you an example why. When you got taxes that are so high and a cost of living that is so high, when you can just go right over to a state just east of you and literally everything drops by 60%, why would you live in California? Why would you live in California when you have, California being a sanctuary state? Do the math, ladies and gentlemen. Do the math. If you have millions of people who are undocumented illegally in this country, and you have X amount of people who are paying taxes, we all know that the people who are illegal are not paying taxes. Most of the people who are illegal are not paying taxes, and most of the people who live there as citizens have to pay taxes, or else. The people who are paying taxes are essentially paying for the people who are not paying taxes. When you are already trying to handle the citizen population, the American population of the poor, the desolate, the people that need government assistance, then you couple that with millions of other people who are not even supposed to be in this country. You're adding on to a problem that you do not have enough money or a solution for, but to raise taxes. And when you do that, you're really hurting the people that can barely survive. Thanks for the super chat. Make America Great Again, Trump 2020. Links the Don. I think that's how you say it. Appreciate the super chat. But that's essentially what's going on in California from what people tell me. I would never live in California. The gas price alone is stupid in California. I mean, I was like, if I drive to California to go visit, I'm going to try to fill up on this side of the border, on the Arizona side, and then try to drive right across. Hopefully I can make it there and back and fill back up on the Arizona side. If I end up making it there, I need to fill up. I may put a couple dollars in the tank just to get far enough to get somewhere to fill it up, because there's no reason that gas prices should be that much. California, in my opinion, is an example of what this country do not want to turn into. As you can see, the failures, they call it Skid Row, where you have tons of people who are homeless. And it's just, I heard and I've seen pictures, I haven't been there, and it's just absolutely ridiculous. This is what America will turn into with leftist Democratic leadership. Open borders, high taxes, and absolutely unbearable for regular citizens to have a reasonable lifestyle in California. So I think I beat that dead harsh enough. But then again, thanks for the super chat. So those are some of the ideas that are coming across my mind. Listen, let me say this. I think that we all as Americans need to find common ground. I really do. I mean, what else are we going to do? We can fight till the cows come home about who's right, who's wrong, this right, this is wrong. What can we do to fix it right now? We're talking about this school shooting. Okay, you can cry about gun laws all you want. What I can say is that what is a common solution that we can get done right now? And I think right now what we can get done is that we can encourage people that if you see something, say something. That's as simple as it can be. What we can do right now is that you can take your child and talk to them at home and tell them this is what you should and shouldn't do. You should pay attention to them. If they're struggling, if they're having issues, then you need to make sure you're paying attention to them, get them the help they need. Those are things that we can do as a country right now. You're talking about gun laws, that's legislation that need to be passed along and passed along and passed along. And I tell you what, if you think you're going to take the guns, that law is not going to pass. I'm never going to vote for it. So, but you don't need laws to tell you how to raise your kids. And you don't need laws to tell or teach your children how to report something. It's not just children. Adults need to learn how to report stuff too. We've seen the same thing with sexual assaults. Weinstein is going in there and you know, taking advantage of women, using his power. Some of them women are dumb enough to go down there with him, but sometimes he's manipulating some of these women. Everybody knew it, but nobody said nothing. Until you get busted, broke down, and disgusted, will somebody actually say something? All right, another super chat. Hit it, Echo.
He says UK gas is. He just says UK gas is $7 or $8 a gallon. There's a 40% tax on it. Socialism is great.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you get when you get socialism. Like go to Texas. They don't even have, like, when you go buy a car, and I'm trying to think of what tax it is. You don't have to pay for, I think, sales tax on vehicles. Let me get that right. There's a tax that you do not have to pay in Texas. I got to make sure I get the right tax right, because there's a certain taxes you don't pay on cars. I should have thought of that and wrote it up. My memory is so bad. If you from Texas, you know what I'm talking about. Give a comment on it. But it makes me want to go to Texas and buy a car because you won't get taxed on it. You come here, you'll get taxed heavily on it. And I bet in California it's worse. How can they do their citizens like that? This is what I'm saying. They're hiking up your taxes in California, not to make California great again, but to pay for the people that don't pay taxes. Don't tread on me. Super chat donation. Appreciate it.
Yeah, didn't say anything. Just
they're making this is how it works, okay? When you are just say I'm a billionaire, right? My money is safe. Everybody else's money is contingent on them trading and doing whatever with each other. If I wanted to sit on my high horse and say, I care about everybody being equal. Yeah, of course I would say, hey, everybody down there needs to have the same stuff. Everybody down there should make equal pay. That's not including me. That's like our government officials. They can pass Obamacare, but they're not a part of Obamacare. So they're sitting up with their beautiful health care and all this other stuff, retirement plan. They don't care about what you're going through. See, in socialism, they have their cake and they're eating it already. They're telling you, no, give your money up to give to this person so y'all can be equal. They're not giving their money to you. They're telling y'all to give money to each other so y'all can be equal, while they sit up on a high horse and while all of you guys struggle and fight and hate each other because some people aren't pulling their load. Now, capitalism is saying, I want y'all to be as great as I am. If I can make it to the millionaire, billionaire status, I want the lowest man on the totem pole to be able to get to where I'm at. I don't need to have the wealth on my own, because if I give you the opportunity to be as rich as me, you may surpass me. While you get to the point, when you get to the point that I'm at, you may develop something that the world needs. You may be incentivized to being the best you can be. Why would I not give you a hand up? And I'm going to say this. I'm going to tell you what, my Facebook page is capitalism. Because people who post great stuff, I share their stuff on my page. That may cause their page to go viral, or that may cause people that follow me to then follow them. A socialist will say, no, I'll show you how to do this on your page, but make sure I'm going to make you share your stuff on his page and do this. I'm not going to ever give you a piece of my pie. I'm just going to let you do it down there. Capitalism is saying that, no, I don't. God has already blessed me with what he going to bring me into. Why wouldn't I help somebody that have a great thought or have a great message, get the message out there? Why wouldn't I? Because the better you are, the better we all will be. And I think that's something that California is missing. And there's a guy, I forget his name, man. I'm just never good with names. If I saw his face, I know. He's running for governor in California, and he's a tough dude, man. He sound tough. He's talking about cutting gas tax. He's talking about doing it all, man. Yeah, if you live in California, you need to pay attention to him, because I'm gonna have to look him up. Can you look it up for me, Echo? He's running for governor in California, Austin or something. I don't know. He got a common name, so. But anyway, I thought that was very, very interesting of that. But California, that's why I don't live in California. If anything, I live in Texas. Arizona is doing me very, very well. You could have you nearly a $500,000 house and probably be paying less than $2,000 a month if you had a mortgage. And California, when you living in the projects, paying $700-800 a month. So while we wait, we're gonna do rapid fire questions. Let's see.
Okay.
Bruce, appreciate you coming on here. Gretchen from Vegas, what's going on? I can't talk to everybody, but when I see you and you pop up, I love you. If you're from Texas, appreciate you. Is that everything? Or that's just for YouTube?
This is everything.
Everything. All right. It's slow. It's slow.
Slower
All right.
today. Yeah.
Good. That's a good thing right now. So we're going to do rapid fire questioning. If you own and you want to ask me a question, I don't care who you are, where you're from, ask me a question. I do my best at answering. Like I said, Super Chat, we will make sure that we answer your question on Super Chat.
Also,
but other than that, we'll do our best at trying to answer your
I
question
saw a
right
lot
now.
of questions from Facebook saying, "What's a super chat? What's a super chat?" It's something on YouTube. So if you want to super chat, you can give any amount of money that you want, and it sends us a message. That's all. And the same person, well, you're gonna get it in a second, Brandon. The same person just super chatted us. Here's an extra $5. I think it's pounds. It's from the UK because you're a legend.
Oh,
It's the same person who said the thing about the gas in UK.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. There, I see it right there. Hey, man, I appreciate you with the Super Chat. So if you guys are watching on YouTube, you have the ability to Super Chat. I mean, I guess that's the benefit of YouTube. But anyway, go ahead and ask your questions. I'll do my best to try to answer everybody's question. But like I said, there come 20, 30 at a time, and I'll miss them. So put some emojis in front of your questions so I know. Are you following QA none? I don't know if that's supposed to go together or not. It's a Q&A none. I'm gonna look that up. People have been telling me to follow that. I don't know if it's a person. I don't know if that's a Facebook page, but I'm sure gonna look at it, man. I done had at least 10 people tell me I should be following it. Let's see. Somebody said, Brandon, are you consider getting with Candace Owens? I don't know what that means. I hope you're not saying getting with in an intimate way. But me and Candace Owens are going to be at an event in May together. We're going to be on a panel, and I think that's going to go well. We're going to be at Texas State University on a panel.
Yeah, I don't know what that.
I'm hoping that they're reasonable people, and they mean, are you going to partner with her? Yeah, which yes, we already have plans. How do I put emojis? I don't know. If you don't know how to put emojis on there at this
on
point,
Facebook?
I don't know.
Yeah, there's a little thing when you type and on your keyboard. There's a little happy face. Click on that. You'll see.
Yeah.
If you're on mobile, if you're on the computer, there's a little happy face in the corner near your comment thing.
All right, I'm trying to catch them.
I see a lot of get Dr. Peterson on.
Yeah, we'll try.
I'll reach out to him.
We'll try.
I'll actually reach out to him. That's going to happen. I don't know if it'll work. Probably won't, but
yeah, we could Skype him in. I got a bunch of people that want to Skype in. I'm gonna have to do it. How do you super chat? You got to be on YouTube to super chat. You'll see it when you go on YouTube. If you're not, just ask your question now. See, I already saw your super chat question, so ask your question. I'll maybe answer it. Yeah. You can be at these people punishing anti-gun nonsense after the shooting. I think that anti-gun stuff after the shooting is just. I mean, I think it's just people who are uneducated. Uneducated don't mean that you're a bad person or whatever the case may be. Uneducated simply means that you are not educating yourself on a topic. A lot of times you see people having issues because they are not familiar. They're not familiar with guns. They're not familiar with gun laws. So they make ignorant statements about it. And anybody that say gun laws, gun restriction is going to help problems like this is probably not. Somebody said something about Spanish in Miami. I heard stories about, I didn't get to see your whole question, but I think you're talking about the craziness where there's literally places in Miami or places in Florida where they only speak Spanish. Like you can't do anything unless you know Spanish. And the bottom line is that maybe that's capitalism for you, but I honestly believe that in this country you should speak English. Somebody said we don't have a national language. I don't know what that means, but last time I checked, everything we do is in English. All of our news reporting is in English. All of our newspapers are in English, unless you're Telemundo. That's not mainstream media. Everything that every time the president speaks, it's in English. Everything else is translated. So that to me means that that's an official language. I don't know what you're talking about. The official language to Jamaica is English. People didn't know that. There's no such thing. People don't speak Jamaican. Jamaican is a slang and a dialect. The English is the national language in Jamaica. I looked that up. Texas State, if y'all out there in Texas State, May the 3rd, I'm going to be there with Candace Owens. So let's keep going. Let's see. I really want Peterson to come on here, man. He a brilliant dude. I'm just going to let him talk. He come on here, I ain't going to say nothing. I'm just going to let him talk.
Yeah, right.
Because then I'll make myself like a fool.
So tell me everything you know.
Yeah. What do I think about Mitt Romney running for Senate? I mean, I don't really know, man. I really don't know. I never followed Mitt Romney when he was when he was in government before, when he tried to run for president. I think that definitely if he's going to uphold conservative views, I think he's a better option than a liberal. But I don't know, man. I don't live in Utah, and I'm not going to vote for him. So I'm really hoping that he does a wonderful thing there. If he's going to have conservative principles, I don't disagree with him. I mean, he almost won the presidency, almost. Somebody said something about city in Texas. What city is, I forget what city is Texas State University. You got to Google it. I forget what city it is. It's in South Texas, I think. What's up from El Paso? Thoughts on mental health issue, what we suggest put in place. I just think like I said earlier in the show, our mental health in America, we're trying, okay? We are barbaric at this point, and this is from a psychiatrist, is that we're still trying to find out what medications to give people, how to diagnose some of these mental illnesses. And then you have a lot of people that just don't abide by their did we get another super chat?
Oh yeah, we did.
People that just don't abide by their treatment plan. Like, for instance, when I was a police officer, people would have outpatient treatment. They will not follow up with the things they're supposed to do, and they get revoked. I mean, it's just our system is not geared to all this ridiculousness in the mental health system. We see so many people abusing it, so many people that need it, and we just don't have enough resources to get to them. When they stop taking their pills, what do? Mom and them have them on pills. You can't force pills down a man's mouth. He don't take them. What do? They send the police out to go find him. When we finally find him, we got to take him against his will back to the hospital. And another thing is that they get so overrun in Arizona that, like, you go in there and you probably are like, for instance, let me give you an example of how our mental health system is failing, and we really need to find out a better solution. I had a guy on a call go into a Circle K with a knife this big. He had the knife this big, and he told everybody in there he was out of his mind, and maybe he was on drugs, but he was clearly crazy. He goes into the Circle K. He has this knife, and he says, I want to eat my ice cream by myself. Anybody stop me from eating ice cream, I'm going to kill them. He gets the ice cream out of the thing, and he's eating the ice cream with this knife that's this long. Everybody gets scared. They run out. Me and another couple people were the first people in there. He's in the back of the store, in the corner, eating ice cream with the knife and flicking ice cream at us. The dude is completely crazy. I had to use my CIT training, crisis intervention training. I had to use my training to try to talk him down until we can get hostage negotiators there and all this other stuff. We almost had to kill him 2 or 3 times because he kept raising up like he wanted to run at us with the knife. I talked to him for 2 hours. Nothing was effective. He literally called our sergeant a B word. He was losing his mind. Hostage negotiator ended up getting him, pinning him down with a cigarette. We got another super chat.
I gotta catch up.
You catch up? Okay. Hostage negotiator was able to talk to him. 2 hours later, he gave up because we pinned him in the corner. We took him to the facility. He was out the next day. He pulled a fake rifle on officers. Thank God we approached him from the back. We didn't have to kill him. He was out the next day. That tell you something's wrong with the system. Let's hit those super chats real quick.
So the first one kind of goes along with this. Thoughts about the Swiss system where on top of a background check, a live psychological test is required to make sure you're mentally stable. And that's for gun purchases, I'm guessing. And this is the same guy, Slovace.
Okay.
I'm not sure how to remember his name, but thank you again.
Okay. Can you get to the other one, or do you need me to?
The other ones, yeah, we can do the other one, then we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
The other one's simple. It says, will you consider making a Patreon reward level where we can Skype with you once a month or something?
Okay, good idea. Patreon level. I would think about it. The more we do this, the more consistent we are. You know, you guys tell us what you want. We'll make a Patreon level.
Yeah, those suggestions are welcome, and we do want to actually interact with those who are patrons more, so that's a good idea.
Yeah, it kind of help us filter and be able to do that. But back to the Swiss, their laws. Listen, I think that it should go like this. People who sell guns, they shouldn't independently give you a psychological evaluation. I think that you should have an independent psychological evaluation, and then that should be shared with the agencies that sell guns. For instance, thanks for the super chat, Boston Girl. So what I'm saying should happen is that, like, for me, I am a normal person. How in depth should a psychological evaluation be, and how long will it take for the response to be? Me as a law-abiding citizen with the Second Amendment right, I don't want to go in there and take some crazy long test and have you give me responses in a week. I want to go and buy me a gun. Now, this is why how I feel like this should work. If a person is mentally ill, because here's another thing. You are now requesting that people who sell guns pay, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of dollars for more in-depth stuff that they have to do, because some of this stuff is independently going to be sponsored by the person selling the guns. If the government, it goes a lot of places. So I don't want to get too jumbly, but what I'm saying is that if a person is mentally ill and they have an evaluation, I think that evaluation should be shared through a database for people who sell guns, for gun distributors. That's how I think it should work. I don't think the gun distribution center should be doing psychological evaluations, because, okay, what if they find out that you're crazy? What are they going to do? Just not sell your gun? They're going to have to get you some help. Does that make sense? And then you got to think about what tests are they going to administer to actually diagnose your psychological ability. If they just give you a piece of paper to write on, they say, hey, fill out this questionnaire. You can cheat a questionnaire. All you got to do is when they say, have you ever thought about killing somebody? No. You know what I'm saying? Have you ever been suicidal? No. You know, I took a psychological evaluation, 1,000 question psychological evaluation from the police department, 1,000 questions. Now, out of those 1,000 questions, they can tell if you have inconsistencies in the way you answer questions. Nobody's going to take I don't want to take 1,000 questions, 1,000 question test to buy a firearm, because what's going to happen when I buy a subsequent firearm? Am I going to have to take that same test? Because that doesn't mean that I didn't go crazy from the last time I bought the firearm. Does that make sense to you guys? I think that a gun shop or people who are distributing firearms shouldn't have to have that burden of, thanks for the super chat again, don't tread on me, shouldn't have the burden of having to figure out if you crazy or not. We have a system already in place. For instance, if you get convicted of a felony, you go down and thanks for the super chat, Ace Lee. If you go down and go to prison and you're a convicted felon, you have not gotten your rights restored, you are ineligible for purchasing a firearm. That information is passed along to these agencies that can sell you firearms. I'm talking about physical buildings. I'm not talking about, through gun shows and stuff like that. I'm talking about physical facilities that sell firearms, like where I got my firearm at the Scottsdale Gun Club. Now, that information is passed along. So when you go out and fill out a background investigation, they can run your name through the system and the flag will hit, boom, they can't sell you guns. Also, the same thing should go if you're mentally ill. If you're mentally ill, a doctor should know about your mental illness, not the freaking the gun store. So you need to get help. You need to do some of those things. And then you should be flagged in a system that they cannot sell you firearms because of a mental illness flag. Now, somebody brought up HIPAA. That's also another thing. You would have to give consent for them to be able to look into your medical history. I don't even know what you would do at a shop. You would fill out an application and they'll say, yeah, dude, I think you got bipolar disorder. What are they going to do with that? We can't sell you a gun. Well, it's so much more expertise and in-depth things that have to go along with a psychological evaluation that it's not reasonable. Make a long story short, it's not reasonable for you to have that pressed upon citizens. I think we already have things in place. We just need to refine it. Like this kid, supposedly he was in and out of medical facilities. He needed to be deemed a danger to himself or others in a facility. Therefore, he would have been flagged as not being able to purchase a firearm, and they could have actually gone and taken his firearms. I hope that answers your question. I wish that we could dialogue back and forth to make it easier.
So we had one that was simply, it said, and I looked this up just to be sure. I actually wasn't sure about this. Please spread the word for the March for Transparency, April 7th, Washington, D.C. So I looked up, she said there's a video about it we can look up, but I looked up some information, and it looks like it's just something about, it says peaceful protest and demonstration to show our discontent with our justice system and the corruption. Now, they clarified this has nothing to do with our current government, but I'm a little bit confused as to what they mean. But I think that their purpose is partially with the media. I don't know. I guess I'm a little confused.
Yeah, so what I can say for you guys, thanks for the super chat, and that you guys can now have the freedom to look it up and find out exactly what it is. Mitch Ferguson, thank you for the super chat.
B, heading home from work. Keep up the good work. That's all it says. And then the one before that said, can you go on Jimmy Kimmel's show and educate these snowflakes?
Hey, look, if y'all got some plugs, y'all got some people that you know, get me in there. I'll go in there and tell it like it is. I'm not going to hold back and try to pacify people and say, oh, you know, I don't know, I don't want to hurt feelings. No, I know your feelings is on the line. You bring me on the show, all bets are off, man. I'm going to tell you like it is, and I want you to tell me like it is. You may say, Brandon, you're ignorant. You don't speak proper English all the time. I'm going to say, you're right. I don't speak proper English all the time, and I'm not the smartest person walking on planet Earth. Next. You know, you ain't gonna hurt my feelings. I look in the mirror every day and realize that there's some things that I can improve on. I wasn't raised to speak proper English. I think that I am starting to say things less in the realm of ebonics, you know, now than I was before. My man is super chatting it up, man. God dang. Yeah, you might as well get on Patreon, man.
Ooh, okay, first, this guy says, didn't know Cruz was in and out. Thanks for clarifying.
No, this is what I'm saying. Let me make sure that I verify this. I did not personally verify whether or not he was in and out a mental health facility. These are rumors that were coming out that I have read on multiple different platforms that he had been in and out of a mental health facility. So don't take that at face value. Do your research about it yourself. I'm gonna have to look it up. But what I was saying was he obviously was reported. I think his family knew something was wrong with him, and then it's a possibility that he may have been evaluated at some point. And so do your research, verify. But I'm just saying that this is what I've been hearing from a lot of reasonable platforms. There was another super chat. Man, y'all are super chatting to death. We ain't never had this many super chats in one show.
Lucian's a regular donor of ours. He donates almost every week. So thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Lucian.
You're the man. But he said, regardless, this is more of a comment. People will get the guns they want one way or another. The wall will help keep some illegal guns out, but they will still find a way to get them in, just stating the obvious. Right.
I agree with you 100%. It's inevitable that, okay, for instance, like listen, ladies and gentlemen, you will do life in prison if you murder somebody. You could possibly get the death penalty if you murder somebody. You will be on death row if you murder somebody. Like, that should be enough to make normal people say, I don't even want to, even if I thought about hurting somebody, I don't want to spend the rest of my life in prison. People don't care. Like, going to prison for the rest of their lives or dying is not a factor when somebody is completely gone. They do not care about nothing. So having a law in place that says, if you're crazy, you can't possess a gun. Okay, that's good, but all you got to do is get an illegal gun, or you steal somebody's guns. You can go to a gun shop and steal guns. Guns are stolen guns are on the street all the time. Like, people can find any means to get this stuff. You remember when alcohol was illegal? They just have a black market. They're going and buying alcohol behind the scenes. Remember when marijuana was completely illegal? People just smoke marijuana anyway. They get it from Mexico. They smoke it anyway. Heroin is illegal. Murdering is illegal. Lying under oath is illegal. People still do it. They will not stop doing it. It's just for people like you and I to have a normal consciousness. We don't want to get in trouble, so we're not going to lie. We don't want to go to prison for life, so we're not going to kill anybody. Although some people make you want to hurt them, but you're not going to do that because there's punishments. But what I'm saying is that one kid out of millions of kids that have gone through that school, that one kid, he's going to find whatever means necessary to kill people. And some people may say, well, it wouldn't have been 17. Well, 10 is not good. 1 ain't good. If it's your kid, 1 kid dead is not good. If he came in there with a knife and stabs your kid, I guarantee you're going to be having a fit. It ain't going to be okay. You're not going to be talking about weapons and rifles. You're going to be saying, how do we prevent this kid from coming into school killing my kid? I don't know why people don't want to think about it like that, because it's not your kid. It's easy to talk about gun violence. If it's your kid, you're not going to care about the rifle. You're not going to care. You're going to the fact that how does somebody get into a school and kill your kid by any means? Mm-hmm. And so anyway, I'm going to answer a couple more questions. We almost to the top or to the bottom, whatever you want to call it. And I got to go to an event tonight. I'm not going to say whose event I'm going to because I don't want there to be any indication that I'm going to vote for this person. But I'm going to the event because I was invited. So hopefully I see some of y'all there if you know what event I'm talking about. Anyway, some of y'all ain't going to waste your donations on an event, but I did. Let's see. How did the FBI not do something? Now, there's two sides to this. There could be a legitimate reason why the FBI didn't do nothing. And then there could be a malicious reason why the FBI didn't do anything. Now, I'm not saying that they intentionally didn't do nothing to cause a shooting. What I'm saying is that they didn't do their job and they dropped the ball. And that's why they didn't do nothing. The other side of it is that there could have been an investigation done and there just wasn't enough to determine that this kid was an immediate threat at the time. That could have come out. But I've heard people say that they just dropped the ball, period. I really don't understand how a kid says that he want to be a shooter, a professional school shooter. He's gotten expelled from school for threatening people. He has Instagram and Facebook that look like a maniac. I'm sure his parents or somebody would say he don't have it all together. How you missed that? I have no idea. If you come on, somebody show me any clearer sign of a kid that will end up doing a school shooting. I mean, you would think if somebody reported me because I had a bunch of guns and I was killing animals on my Instagram, and man, let me tell y'all this. If you think the FBI can't get into your social media, you're dumb. The police department can get into your social media. We can get a search warrant for all of your social media. They can be granted by the judge, and we go through Facebook. Facebook give us the authorization to go through your Facebook account. The police can go through your Facebook account. Mr. I'm selling drugs and I'm so cool and I think nobody know about it. We are probably in your Facebook account right now. Facebook can give us permission to do that as a law enforcement agency. They can also deny it. The FBI, you better believe that they can hack into your account. They don't even need to get Facebook's approval. They can hack into your account. So anyway, they have an ability to get into your account and check all your stuff. Let me move on because I don't want to keep talking about this. How did the Uber driver not report him? I guess he left the scene in the Uber. I don't know. Hey, but maybe because he was a mass shooter and he had a rifle and he got in the car and said, "If you say something, I'm gonna kill you." That's probably why he didn't say anything.
No kidding.
But I'm pretty sure he said something after the fact. The police can and Zuckerberg can block you.
I don't know.
I don't really know what that means. But I know for a fact that people have gotten busted on Facebook because police have gotten into their Facebook page through a search warrant. I mean, I don't know if I gave away a secret, but you got to be stupid to think that's not going to be exposed. Just imagine if Facebook reported you. They going to report you and they going to let the police look at your Facebook page. You know what I'm saying? Somebody want to know who's the guy with the music pre-show.
The what?
The guy that sings pre-show.
Oh, the music. It's DJ Quads, Quads. If you look him up on SoundCloud, there's a link in the YouTube description that says where our sound is from. I should actually probably include it in the Facebook description. I get questions a lot, so DJ Quads.
Yeah, somebody said he took an Uber to the school.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't really know how he concealed it either. Who knows if the Uber driver didn't call on him after he dropped him off at the school. I mean, I don't really know what happened. Who knows? The kid probably had it in the backpack. He had the rifle in the backpack and he put it in the trunk. I mean, the Uber driver may not even notice what he had. The kid probably planned this out. He pulled a fire alarm and everything. That kid already had this planned out before he did it. Let's see. I think did he give another donation?
This guy gave another one. This guy is Slovis. It'll come on the screen in a second. He says, first of all, let me say this, Slovis. You're the man. I think it's man. I don't know, actually. If you're the man or woman, whatever you are. Yeah. You are that. But
you're cool.
You should click on the link. We have a link in the YouTube because I know you're on YouTube. For our Patreon. You can give like monthly there. You don't have to do this through Super Chat, and you can message us on our Patreon. So if you guys have questions, you can message me on Patreon. I'll get it on my phone. And I can answer your questions right here if you have them there too. So just remember that. Then you don't have to worry about, you can donate and then don't have to worry about paying us every time you want to sting and ask a question. But we still appreciate you donating. This is amazing. He says, is the AR-15 used more in recent attacks simply because of ease of use and relatively low price, or is there another aura about it?
I think there's a few things there. Relative low price, I don't think so. It's easy to buy one. It is easy to buy one. It is. I'm going to admit, if you're you don't have to have a lot to get an AR-15. And if you know anything about guns, the AR-15 is a lot more comfortable for people to use and shoot with than a handgun. Not just because the magazines. It's just because you sitting up on a platform where you can just go tat, 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 tat. It's kind of easier to do, especially if you have an optic on it and all this other stuff. So, and I think he said AR-15 is a lot of video games, the most used. AR-15, like it's I don't know. I ain't never thought about killing people with a gun, like unless I had to. So
what's the okay? Here, first of all, let me just say the AR-15 is an Armalite rifle. 15. It's a model of a gun. There's only like one model of that gun. So when people say AR-15, there's other models that kind of look like it, and it might not be that. So let me just say that it's just there's a lot of guns modeled after. Really, what it is the M16. That was a military weapon. That's like the weapon that it looks the most like.
Yeah, it's a ton. Listen, there's a ton of now. If you're 21, you can get those pistols. They call it pistols, but they're like rifle pistols. You can sling them, and it just can't have a stock on it. I've seen dudes at my job had tons of them that shoot
like
9 mil.
They're like 9mm, right?
Yeah, they
like
shoot 9 mil, and them things are they'll tear you up, and they're not. See the thing. This is the thing. Like now I'm not upset with the question. I'm just upset that like it's so much confusion going on around firearms. Like if he's 19 years old, he can have an AR-15. I think the reason he bought it is because it is kind of a cool gun and it's glorified that it can cause some damage. If this was an experienced shooter, he would probably not carry an AR-15 to the school. He would just carry handguns and mags because it's easily concealed. He could have went right into the school and pulled the fire alarm and stood in front of the door and capped more people point blank than he could just spraying people. I think he was spraying, and then he probably walked up on a couple kids and tried to shoot them down. So I just think that it could be the video games that's making this AR-15 seem like the AR-15 is probably not even the best choice for shooting. If you are like, for me, I don't use a lot of guns. I don't know a lot about a lot of guns. I have an AR-15 and I have a Glock. I love the Glock and I love AR-15. There's so many different rifles that you can get. So many kinds of rifles you can get. Some people choose them. They do not choose the AR-15. There's so many different handguns you can get. Some people would never shoot a Glock. There's so many different guns, and I just think that they're easy to get. And this kid may have been watching movies and he felt like it would be cool to use that. I honestly believe that if he was smarter, he probably would have used other stuff. He probably would have used, if he was smarter and he really, really wanted to hurt people, he wouldn't have just used a gun. He would have used knives. He would have used, chemicals and all kind of stuff. Like he could have easily gassed people in that school. He could have gassed them. He could have put acid. He could have shot people with AR. He could have dumped it and went to the handgun. He could have stabbed people. He could have done a whole bunch of different stuff. But that kid was an amateur and he didn't know what he was doing that much. He's not a killing machine. And I think the first thought in his mind that, I'm going to get an AR-15. Think about it. That close to all those kids running out of the building, unimpeded. Nobody shot him. Nobody did nothing. That kid could have killed way more than 17 people. He just wasn't. He wasn't prepared well. He could have had ballistic stuff on. That kid could have done it all the way up at 19. He didn't know what he was doing. He could have built a pipe bomb. That kid could have done all kind of stuff at that school and could have been devastating. All he had to do is block the doors. If he would have got a chain with a lock, he went to the front. He'd have chained it all the way through. They would have been like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" He would have chained it all the way through, locked it. They would have had no exit. All he had to do is do it from the outside. I guarantee you school monitors not paying attention. He could have did it from the outside on one side, walked around the school, locked himself in there, and then just went through and started sweeping. He could have brought tools to jam the doors. He could have did all kinds of stuff. He could have brought all that in the backpack. But the kid was just acting in rage, man. So I guess I'm saying this to say, I do agree with you that these guns are a lot more available. But at the end of the day, if a person is dedicated, they're going to use whatever means necessary to kill people. And this could have been much, much worse. If he would have said, I'm not going to use a gun, I'm going to use, he could have built some type of explosive, would have probably killed a lot more people. So he could have set a fire in the school and wedged the door shut. That would have probably killed a lot of people. I mean, that kid could have done a lot of stuff. Thank God he wasn't smart enough. Let's see. Somebody said 3,000 people were killed, and I missed that one. Oh, another Patreon. What's he say?
The same
thanks.
guy, S loves L. Okay, I think that's how you say it. S loves L. To be honest, this is what happened. My mom's watching the show. Hi, Mom. She messaged me on Facebook and said, I think it's pronounced S loves L because I was like Slovel. She's like, I think this is how you say it. Also, my mom.
Thanks, Mom.
Just pledged on Patreon. So thanks, Mom, for pledging on Patreon. You're the bomb.
Thanks, Mom.
But, okay, S loves L says, okay, by the way, I can throw as much money as I want. I pay for quality. You deliver, Brandon. Would trust an officer over a politician or journalist any day.
Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. I need to come work for you. That's what I need to do.
You're like one of our few. Yeah. I'm gonna throw money at you.
Yeah.
We'll take it.
Nah, but we definitely appreciate it, man. We're coming to the end of the show. We appreciate everybody who are commenting. You know, it's always wonderful to get patrons, and then also to get super chats. I almost said snooper chats. To get super chats, that's amazing. We thank all of you for it. It really helps us out. People that buy the merchandise, it helps us out as well. But we also want to say thank you guys for the comments, the shares, the views. I mean, all of that together and combination is what makes this show grow. And I definitely really appreciate every single person. You all have a mission on this show, and we appreciate you, I guess, exercising your mission. What were you laughing at?
Everybody's like, hey, Mama Echo. Hey, Mrs. Echo.
Yeah, Mama Echo.
I love it. Maybe I should get Mama Echo on here.
Yeah.
She'd probably hate being on this show.
Yeah.
But I love my
All
mom.
right. We love y'all. Is this just YouTube?
Nope, this is both.
Both?
This is
Okay.
everything. Hey,
That's
Echo's
good.
mom.
And it's pretty.
I appreciate y'all saying hi to my mom. I hope that she's still watching. I don't know if she is. Yeah, it says she is, so.
U.S. Marine Corps vet. Simplify. I appreciate you, my man. I love veterans, man. I saw a veteran last night when I went to the gym. They didn't have a cycling class close to my house, so I had to drive 35 minutes to a cycling class because it was raining and I couldn't ride. But the guy was in the gym with his service dog. I had never seen that a day in my life, a guy go to the gym with his dog. And, like, you could tell it was a service dog and it had a little vest on it, and it was, like, veteran or whatever. And I wanted to shake the guy's hand, but I didn't want to be, all in his face. The man want to go work out. But that was pretty cool. That dog walked with him in the gym, and I didn't watch him, but he probably worked out with him. The dog just kind of sat down somewhere while he was doing the weights, and then the dog moved when he moved. I need to make my dog a service dog. I'm not playing. Like, I would have to train him because he'll be wild, barking at everybody. But that'd be cool if Phineas was my service dog. And I'm not saying service. That man need that dog. And I feel like I need Phineas too. Maybe for different reasons. But that was pretty cool, man. If I ever see that guy again, man, I'll shake his hand and I would love to hear his story. But all right, we're gonna bounce. We're gonna bounce. It's about that time, and I gotta get ready to go.
Bounce time.
All right, I'm gonna say a prayer, and then we're gonna get off here. One of the things I want us to realize before I say anything about praying and anybody about God is it's not about religion, it's about relationship. Okay. And I think that most of us understand that. Thanks for the super chat again. What does it say?
I'm a Brit, but my GF is Floridian. Hence the interest.
Awesome.
So wait, are you in Britain? Don't super chat this, but are you in? Do it in comments. Are you in Britain and your girlfriend's in Florida? Because that's tough.
No, I have a friend. One of my friends, he was in Australia and his girlfriend was in the States, and I think I got to see if he moved. He's trying to get his citizenship.
Yeah, one of them will
moved.
probably just marry. You get like a visa for marrying someone.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he's trying to get his, man. He's my dog, man. I wish he was. I don't know if he's watching right now. He's probably in a whole nother time zone. But anyway, I'm gonna say a quick prayer and then we're gonna get off here. Okay. If you guys are in a position to join me in prayer, obviously you can keep your eyes open and drive. Don't crash trying to pray with me. We're gonna get right into it. So, Lord, I want to say thank you for waking us up this morning, giving us another opportunity, a brand new day. God, we know that you are sovereign over all things. We know that you are in control. God, I pray that you give peace, that you show love to, and that you get resources for those who have lost their children in such a terrible shooting. God, I pray that you help that young man who conducted this shooting and who was responsible for this. God, I pray that you help him, that you can get his sanity right, and that he would come to you and ask for forgiveness, and helped us as a nation even be forgiving to this person, even though none of us probably want to be quite honest. But God, help us to be forgiving. Help us to understand, to love the way you love, and to see the world and to see other people the way that you would have us see other people, in the way that you already see us. And God, I pray for all of the politicians, President Donald Trump. I pray that you bless him, you give him wisdom, you give him courage, you give him strength, you give him some youthfulness in what he does. Help him to tweet out the proper things that not only will express his feelings in conjunction or in refute of the mainstream media, but help him to utilize Twitter in a way that can bring people together and that can unite Americans and help us to find common ground. God, I pray for all of our leaders that you will help them be impartial, help them to be bipartisan in their decisions. God, I pray for everybody in America that you help and you strengthen them. You give them courage in a time like this, that you bless them, you heal them, even those who are unbelievers. God, I pray that you send people and send your love and grace and your gospel to them through us, and even other means, even through visions, God, that you show them that you are real, and that you love them, and that it's not a battle against people and God. It's not a battle against atheists and Christians. It's a battle of love, and only you, God, can show that love to us. Only you, God, can express that love, that we may love one another in a more profound way, in a more authentic way, in a more consistent way. So, God, I pray that we all make safe travel home. Everybody who's driving, I pray that you bless this show to grow and to be an arm in your wheel. We pray all these things in the name of Jesus. Amen. Thank you, guys. See you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Join us. We will be having a show. Hopefully we can do something fun. Maybe I'll think of something cool. Love y'all. See y'all later. Hold the phone.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story, and I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.